Live from the virtual Darlington Raceway in virtual Darlington, South Carolina. Welcome, sim racing fans, to the MSRA National Series Fantastic Sams 233 live on Apex Racing TV. Happy that you can join us on this beautiful Friday evening. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Alongside with me in the commentary box is Jonathan with Marco Barbonera down in the virtual production trailer. Jonathan, last night the trucks were here in the MSRA. Tomorrow night the Cup cars will be here, but tonight we have the Xfinity Series NASCAR cars here in the MSRA National Series. This is set to be an exciting one, as these Xfinity cars are touted to now being some of the most powerful and hardest to drive NASCAR Cup cars there are.
Absolutely, and also this is the second highest level of competition in the Midwestern Sim Racing Association. The National Series drivers have an iRating between 1,500 and 5,000, so high competition, and we're going to have 3 stages tonight. We have a stage break at 45, at lap 90, and, at 171. And the drivers are going to get 6 sets of tires. Now, this is going to be really difficult on a track that's so difficult, such as Darlington.
And those additional tire sets are going to become important. And like you said, this track eats away at those tires. So these drivers are going to be hoping for more tire sets than 6, most likely by the end of the night. But they're going to need to be careful down on pit road. And those stage breaks are going to make it even more important to get those tires on the cars. As we get ready to go racing, qualifying going to wrap itself up, and we're going to be going green here at the virtual Darlington Raceway. 13 cars set to take the green flag here in Darlington, and we'll grab a look at your starting grid. David Centini will line up on pole for OSN Racing. Michael Whitaker, my apologies, to his outside. Evan Longaker, Cole Hooper on row 2. Row 3 is Jeffrey Meyer to the inside with Kenny Meadows to the outside. Rounding out your top 8, Nicholas Ebby and Christopher Watkins with TJ Crampton and James Love sharing row 5. Matthew Van Gelder, Julio Villalobos Jr. share row 6. And rounding out the 13-car field is Chris Hansen in 13th. So 13 cars ready to take the green flag. And Jonathan, taking a look at the points right now, sitting at the top, it's Evan Longaker with 8 starts this season, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s, but still no wins or stage wins on this season. You have to go down to David Centeni to find the first winner, and Kenny Meadows, Michael Whitaker, both have also gone to victory lane this season. TJ Crampton with 2 wins on the season. There's a lot of talented drivers and a lot of winning drivers in this series, but your points leader, Evan Longaker, starting in 3rd, still looking for that first win.
And the cream is really rising to the top looking at qualifying. Longaker, he's currently 1st in the points. Centeni, our pole sitter, is 2nd in the points. And looking also down the list, I see Jeffrey Meyer. He's also, in 5th place. So the cream rises to the top at a track like Darlington. What Darlington stripe, we all know about that. It's going to be a combination of who can stay out front, who can take care of their tires, and also at the same time maintain some track position.
That seems to be one of the most challenging things at this course, is maintaining the track position, especially after the tires start to wear off and we find cars moving further to the back. Everybody on the grid, and we're getting ready to go racing. They'll go around for one pace lap behind the iRacing.com pace car, and then we'll be off and away for the MSRA National Series. Now, here on Apex Racing TV, I believe the last time we were here for the MSRA National Series was Daytona, which was a good while ago. In between then, they have gone to Homestead, Auto Club, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Atlanta, and Martinsville, and Talladega. And now we are here at Darlington for round number 9 of the season. So the season's starting to work its way into the middle parts of the campaign. And at the front, it's Evan Longaker in the points, 32 points behind. David Centeni, 52 points behind. Kenny Meadows, 55 points behind. Michael Whitaker, and 63 points behind Jeffrey Meyer for your top 5 in the points. So everybody racing for something in this series. 13 drivers ready to take the green flag, and they'll make their way through turns 3 and 4. The popular egg-shaped oval of Darlington Raceway came to be because of a little pond that was promised not to be stepped over in the building of this racetrack. So that is why turns 3 and 4 are a lot shorter, going to require these drivers to hit those brakes heading down into turn 3. But it's time to go green flag racing. We are underway. Round 9 of the MSRA National Series is underway from the virtual Darlington.
Tenney with a great jump off the line. Whitaker's going to fall in behind him into second. It looks like Hooper's going to be in third with Longacre fourth.
Already we head down the back straightaway. Centenni leads the way, and already a contact.
We got trouble.
Nicholas Ebby in the 11 around on the back straightaway. We stay green, but that 11 car damaged everywhere on that machine.
I'd love to see what happened to Ebby on that first lap. That was a tough call, especially in the throwback Ricky Bobby. Here we go, check the replay. We have throwback on throwback crime here.
Didn't even look like contact there either with the 11. Just got loose coming off of the corner. Possible issues for the 95. He's following his way back. That's Evan Longacre, your current points leader. All the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Way bottom is the 88 of James Love for Great Lakes Motorsports. Gets way out of the gas. He's fallen all the way back to 12th.
Yeah, Longacre's already dropped 6 positions so far in the race, so I wonder what happened on that lap. Did he, get loose? Did he have an issue? Interesting to see you find out. And he's currently holding on to 9th place with Hansen right behind him.
Chris Hansen for Ground Zero Racing in the 20, sits in 10th, and we hop back up to the battle for the lead. Centenni, Whitaker, and Hooper pulling away from the field as we go on board with the 99. Back into turn 1. 3 laps down, currently working lap number 4, and you see everybody already starting to experiment right up near the wall. That seems to always be the fastest line here at Darlington.
It's such an interesting track, Joshua, as you dive into the corner a little bit, and some drivers do, then you try to float your way back up, and you're right against the wall, because as you just said, that's the fastest way around, but also one of the toughest ways around, because we always talk about that Darlington stripe. You're bound to get one at once in a while if you race around the top groove of this track.
And already some drivers starting to skirt up there on the exit of turns 4 and 2. You can see them really arching that corner, go right to the wall through the middle, and work their way back down the bottom of the racetrack through turn 2 and onto the back straightaway to grab a slingshot, heading down into turn 3. Jeffrey Meyer currently holding on to the 5th spot for Frontline Esports in the 50. TJ cramped in behind him in 6th. Here's the battle for 11th spot between James Love and Christopher Watkins in the 15. You can already see Watkins with damage to that right side, possibly already grabbing a bit of damage from the Darlington wall. He's making his first start of the season in the 15. Gets loose through turns 1 and 2, forces James Love down to the bottom of the racetrack.
He complete the sludge up? No, they'll be neck and neck down the straight.
He's going to let him go by.
Yeah, he lets him go.
Make his way up into 11th. Christopher Watkins, like I mentioned, his first start in this series this season is here at Darlington. Obviously not trying to make any enemies just yet, Jonathan.
No, it's early in the race. We're 7 laps into a 171-lap race, so take it easy, preserve your tires. And, we still have a long ways to go. As we take a look out the back of Van Glider, with Longacre right behind him. The battle for 8th and 9th right here.
Ben Gelder for Gem eRacing. Great Lakes Motorsports driver Evan Longacre behind in the 95. Both of them running throwback paint schemes here for this special night in the MSRA National Series. Working their way back through 1 and 2. About 4/10 separate these two drivers. They head back to the back straightaway. Joining the fight as well, Chris Hansen in the 20, within 6/10 of these drivers. So everybody starting to work their way through turns 3 and 4, and everybody getting used to their cars, seeing exactly who they can rival with on the racetrack. We're on board with Ground Zero Racing driver Chris Hansen as he works his way down the front straightaway and having to get out of the gas is the 16 of Matthew Van Gelder. A lot of drivers having issues on the racetrack right now as those tires start to heat up.
And also, Hansen's last week's winner at Talladega. He's already up 3 spots in the race, so good for him. As we take a look at Love, and yep, and he kisses the wall, and ooh, and goes right into the inside wall. And will remain green.
Yeah, and something unique about Darlington I was going to mention is that we have really remained green because that is far outside of the racing surface here. You're really only going to race in the top 3 lanes here, Jonathan. So anything under that, it's grounds for no caution from iRacing, and clearly the MSRA admins and iRacing did not see a reason to call a caution there, so we're going to stay green with Nicholas Ebby and James Love, the 2 cars now off the track.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. There's not much racing room on the track, but there's so much, there's so much space below the track. So if you spin out, you get loose, or you even hit the wall like we saw right there, you may not get a caution flag, which may be tough if you're toward the back and you're looking for help. It's one of the interesting things that makes Darlington so unique, and that's why we call it the Lady in Black.
The Lady in Black, you can try and take her out, but everybody knows she will bite you, and she bites a lot of drivers here at Darlington. Every time they touch that wall, it's just a little kiss from the Lady in Black as she leaves them out in the cold. So continuing to work, lap number 12 of 171 in the MSRA National Series. Fantastic Sam's 233. Still a long way to go here on Apex Racing TV. As we'll take a look at the battle for 5th. Jeffrey Meyer versus TJ Crampton. Frontline eSports driver versus Gem eRacing in the 61 as they dive back into turn number 1.
So one thing I found out is that Crampton is running a throwback livery to himself. So this is the paint scheme that he ran in his first dirt race back in 2014. So usually we see drivers throw it back as a tribute to another driver, or a scheme they love. TJ's throwing it back to himself, so that's pretty neat on this throwback weekend.
And that is wonderful. You get an opportunity to throw back to yourself in your early days of racing. That is absolutely awesome to see from TJ Crampton as we go on board with the 61 through turns 1 and 2, and already having to get out of the gas on the exit. Jonathan, I didn't think we were going to need to talk about tires this soon, but I think we're at that point. Tires are starting to wear off. These drivers are starting to really see what they have in their cars. The tires start to get to a point where they're going to start to feel absolutely gone.
As we look at Crampton, he's got a little damage on his front end, so he's trying to preserve, and as you said, maintain tires. He's trying to catch Meyer, but also at the same time doesn't want to go, too fast and wear the tires out, because as we know, this track just rips tires apart. Shout out to Crampton as well. He's up 3 spots from where he started.
And you can see him running up
as he hits the wall.
As he hits it, going through turns 3 and 4. He got just a little bit too close and tapped it. Luckily, not a huge tap. He didn't get stuck to the wall, and he was able to stay going forward. David Centeni continues to lead the way in the 79, and you can see on our track map, field starting to spread its way out, and Christopher Watkins obviously slow on the inside. He'll let the leader, David Centeni, by in the 79 to the outside, and off and forward goes that OSN Racing number 79.
Yeah, Centeni got a heck of a jump off the start, and he's already cruised out to about almost a little under a second half lead over Michael Whitaker, running in second. Now we look at Meyer, and here we are with Meadows, who's running in 4th, up 2 spots from where he started.
Kenny Meadows for Demead Racing Team in the number 96, running in 4th, up 2 spots from where he originally started the night, and coming into this race, 3rd in points, 5 top 5s, 6 top 10s, and 1 win on the season. So a good season starting out for Kenny Meadows, and he went back to victory lane a couple of weeks ago in Phoenix. So he's looking to go for 2 wins on the season here at Darlington. Still a good bit of work to go, though, as he is about 6 seconds back from your leader, David Centeni. And we're working our way on to lap number 19, just nearing halfway done here in stage number 1. Once again, our stage breaks, lap 45, lap 90, and lap 171 here in the Fantastic Sam's 233. And Fantastic Sam's is where customers can find haircuts, hair color, treatment services, and more at a Fantastic Sam's near you. We've increased safety measures to provide a safe environment for both guests and staff. Salon Experience, affordable prices, experienced stylists, and complimentary shampoo. And you can find out all of the information on Fantastic Sam's today, and we're happy that they are on board to sponsor this race here for the MSRA National Series. www.fantasticsams.com to find one near you. And I believe the 20 of Chris Hansen running a Fantastic Sam's paint scheme tonight. So he is supporting. Yes, he is. So
yes, he is.
The race sponsor here tonight in Darlington as he works his way in 9th place for Ground Zero Racing in that Fantastic Sam. Toyota Supra back into the wall goes the 15 of Christopher Watkins.
Watkins having some trouble around Darlington. He's definitely a driver that is screaming for tires right now, wondering, get me through the stage. I want to get to the pits as soon as I can. As we get right on board with Longacre, trying to take with VS Lobos Jr. right in front of him. We have the one climber in VS Lobos and the one guy who dropped back in Longacre. Longacre looks to the inside, and he'll, as soon as he can think better of it, he's running a little lower line. Looks like VS Lobos touched the wall a little bit. Longacre drops low. And VS Lobos will maintain the position.
The 95 gets loose on the inside. That's Evan Longacre for Great Lakes Motorsports. He was trying to get around the 45 of Julio Villalobos Jr. And you can see the 45 damage to that right end. He got into the wall. Didn't affect him too much. It seemed like being down on the inside and that change of elevation. You can see the top 3 lanes are banked a certain way, and then you go down to the 4th lane, so a little bit less banking. That messed up Evan Longacre more than hitting the wall, messed up the 45 of Villalobos. The 96 of Kenny Meadows going to let another car go by. Meadows falls to 6th, Crampton now up to 5th.
Yeah, Meadows has just let 2 guys by. Looking at our lap times, he's dropped a little bit. Everybody's dropped off about 2 seconds or so, and he's dropped off a little more compared to everyone else around him. So yeah, he's faded back 2 positions pretty quickly.
And
we're right on board with Longacre. Longacre finally gets around VS Lobos, and that is a pass for 7th place. Meanwhile, as we take a look at Matthew Van Gelder, let's see what happened with Van Gelder here, and maybe Chris Hansen.
Hansen down all the way on the bottom of the racetrack, possibly letting him go on by, and it looks like that's exactly what happened. Hansen in 10th, Van Gelder now in 9th, as David Centeni continues to lead the way. Once he crosses the start-finish line this time by, we'll have 20 laps to go here in the first stage.
Penny's really pulled out a lead. He's about 3 seconds ahead. And we saw this last night in the truck race where, I can't think of the leader's name off the top of my head, but he just took off and pulled away. It was, I think he lapped almost up to the top 3 at one point. So could we have a same situation we had last night in the truck race?
That is very, very possible, but remember, obviously, these stage breaks, they're going to lead to a restart, which is going to bunch everybody back on up into the restart. So we could see some possible passes for the lead, but Centeni keeps getting jumps like he did on that initial start. I don't think anybody's going to be able to catch that 79 tonight. Michael Whitaker, closest one in 2nd place, 3.3 seconds back to the Area 51 chassis design number 58. As Whitaker sits in 2nd, Cole Hooper in 3rd, not anymore, as Jeffrey Meyer makes a move on the outside on Cole Hooper. Hooper falls to 4th. DJ Crampton now in the 61 in 5th.
Opportunity for Crampton to make the pass here, but talking about going back to Centeni, we've talked about tire drop-off, and Centeni's done a great job maintaining that drop-off. We've seen about 2 seconds and more, everyone's dropped off. Centeni's kept it about 2 seconds, where everybody's in 2.5, almost close to 3 seconds in that drop-off zone. As we take a look at Cole Hooper running in 4th place.
And Hooper with damage
right where
to
he
that
started.
right side. He definitely tapped the wall at some point.
Oh, yes, he did.
Yeah, a lot of damage to that right end, and we'll see. It could have been right off of that.
Hold on
Sent
to
him
it.
down to the inside. That led to Jeffrey Meyer getting on around him in the 50. So it looked to be just a slight tap to the wall, forced him down the racetrack and led to the 50 going right on by. Nicholas Ebby will make his way back onto the track. He was involved in that first lap incident coming off of turn number 2. Didn't lead to a caution, but he has been in pit road since the start of this race. He is 29 laps down, now working his way back into the racing line as we're on board with TJ Crampton looking to make a pass for 4th.
Crampton, one of our hard chargers right now, right on the tail of Cole Hooper. Let's see what he can do. Running a little lower line, tucks up right behind.
Taking a great look from the chopper cam. Thank you, Marco Barbonero. You can really see it. 99 gets back into the wall, down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Hang on to it.
He hang on to it, but Crampton goes by for 4th. Hooper now falls to 5th. Even more damage to the right end as he's back in the wall in 3.
And Hooper kissed the wall as well. Everybody is kissing the wall. Cole Hooper's had a few close moments over the past few laps. Hang on to it.
Tires start to wear. Cars start to plow tight up the racetrack, and we're seeing a lot of cars into the wall. There's the incident with the 99 of Cole Hooper. See who makes his way down to the bottom of the racetrack. He was able to save it, but you can see the car just plows tight through the corner.
And there he is again.
Nothing he can do. He's back in the wall. That's not even a replay.
And Meadows is going to make the pass and say, I'll see you later, buddy.
More trouble for Kenny Meadows. Or sorry, for Cole Hooper as Kenny Meadows goes right on by. Now up 1 spot from where Meadows originally started the day. Fell back through the field from 6th, now up into 5th. As Cole Hooper for Hooper Motorsports down 2 spots from where he originally started, trying to just hold on now in the 99 as we near so closely to the stage break. Chris Hansen into the pit lane.
In the pits.
And he's 2 laps down now. He had to have gotten into an incident at some point.
Yeah,
He had some sort of trouble with the car. The car was off. He was coasting heading into the corner, or heading into the pit lane.
Yeah, he's got some damage. I wonder what happened. I wonder if he just ran into the wall. It looks like Longacre's continuing his climb back up the field. He's right behind Cole Hooper.
Back onto the front straightaway, nearing our way to the end of stage number 1 as Evan Longacre goes right on by Cole Hooper. Longacre back up into 6th, still 3 more positions left until he reaches the spot he originally started this race in.
Longacre's had an interesting season so far. Interesting season. He's first in points right now. He's got 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s, but 0 stage wins. He's the only driver in the field, actually in the top 5, that has 8 starts. So really interesting season so far for Evan Longacre. And let's see if he can get off the schneid with a stage win or perhaps even a victory. As we take a look at Kenny Meadows with Longacre right behind him. Meadows 1 place up from where he started in the race. He's had an interesting race so far in a few different battles. And it looks like Longacre's kind of catching him little by little.
That's Christopher Watkins heading down into the pit lane as well, and Meadows back into the wall, I think, as Longacre goes right on by in the 95, put Longacre back up into the top 5. Like what you were saying, Jonathan, about his season, that just goes to show consistency really can be key, and just showing up every week. You go down the order, the only other drivers to have 8 starts are Timothy Davis and Chris Hansen, and they both have 1 top 5 each and 3 and 4 top 10s respectively. 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s for Evan Longacre as he moves his way up into 5th, your current points leader. On board at the 99, Cole Hooper still struggling out there on the racetrack.
Hooper's just trying to hold on for the next few laps, and working that wheel, trying to find some grip and get around the turn without causing more damage to his race car, which has been battered pretty good in this first stage here at the Fantastic Sam's 233.
You can see that car getting a little bit loose, possibly his setup more tailored to getting loose over a run, or possibly that damage is causing some bit of an arrow loose, and we like to talk about these NASCAR cars as they just get very loose through the corner. He is fighting that wheel, barely even turning it through the corner, and it's rotating just a little bit too much for the 99. As we hop back up to 4th place, TJ Crampton battling with Evan Longaker. Or should I say, Evan Longaker trying to catch up, about 4.5 tenths back.
Yeah, it's interesting. Where did the speed from Longacre come from? Did he just, we saw him drop back, right away at the start of the race, and he's been slowly making this charge up through the field. As you just mentioned, he's getting close right up to TJ Crampton, who's also been a mover up the field as well.
6 laps to go in stage number 1. Here comes Evan Longaker, the 95, starting to come alive in that rapid fire.
Crampton got loose!
Loose off the corner is TJ Crampton in the 61. Evan Longaker down to the inside, gonna take over P4.
Longacre's flying right now. He is everyone behind him is running in the 30s. Next few guys are running in the 33s. Longacre last lap ran a 32.65. Meyer ahead of him is running a 32.63. Whitaker is running a 32.64, and our leader David Santini ran a 33.55. So our top 4 guys are getting really, really close right now on the track in time-wise.
5 laps to go here in stage number 1, about to become 4 when David Centeni comes across the line. David Centeni this season looking at 5 stage wins and is looking to make it 6 on the season, but he's only been able to get it done once this season, and he was able to get it done back in Las Vegas. And he started 2nd, finished 1st, led 138 laps there, and this track is slightly similar to Las Vegas in a couple of ways, but more similar, I'd say, to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, but still a good run in Las Vegas, and Centeni's looking for another good run here at Darlington.
It was funny you just said that, because I was driving the track earlier, myself, and wondering what track does this remind me of? And you said it, Atlanta, just due to the tire wear, just from the tire wear factor. This very much is Atlanta, where you have grip for the first 5 laps, and after that you're struggling and praying to God that you get a chance to make a pit stop at some point in the not too distant future. As we look at, let's see what happened to Mr. Eby.
He came back on the racetrack after a lap 1 incident, and he taps the wall coming off turn 2, and he just stopped it and decided that was going to be enough for him, so he towed it right back to the pit lane. He made a couple of laps on the racetrack, about 14 to be exact. But that was it. As working down the back straightaway, your leader, David Centeni, will grab the white flag here in stage number 1 and then come back to the green checkered flag, and will be under caution for the first time tonight.
Heck of a first stage for David Centini. Unbelievable first stage. Not a scratch on that car. So good for him. And as I said, I'm watching for the commentator's curse.
Think he might get away with that one. He's not going to hit it through 1 and 2. Old school ninjas on the hood of that number 79 for OSN Racing. As he makes his way through turns 3 and 4. First stage getting ready to be over. The 79, David Centini, comes back to the green checkered flag. He'll take the win in stage 1.
First stage for David Centini. Michael Whitaker's going to finish in 2nd, it looks like, and Jeffrey Meyer's going to run 3rd. As we take a look at Matthew Van Gelder, currently running in 9th. He'll finish the stage in 9th place.
He'll work his way back to the start-finish line to take the green checkered flag. Oh, taps the wall heading through turns 3 and 4. He is going to want a fresh pair of tires under this stage break. He will bring it back to the start-finish line, and he crosses it now, and the caution comes out for stage number 1. So that is going to conclude the first stage of the night. David Santini for Old School Ninjas Racing grabs the stage 1 win. We would like to thank Rapid Fired Pizza for their support of the MSRA National Series. Rapid Fired Pizza offers amazingly good, amazingly fast, fresh-made pizza. It's what we can do in 180 seconds. You try one of our craft pizzas or choose from over 35 fresh toppings and a dozen different sauces to create your own masterpiece. You can visit your own Rapid Fired Pizza in the states of Indiana, Kentucky, North Carolina, Ohio, South Carolina, Texas, and West Virginia. Check out our website at rapidfiredpizza.com. David Santini will lead the field into the pit lane, as that's coming up here on Apex Racing TV, as we are under the first stage break of the night. Santini, Whitaker, Meyer, Longacre, and Crampton, your top 5.
I just got the message from race control. They put out the data for the first stage, and it's, as we said, Darlington is a really tough track, and our last point in the stage went to Christopher Watkins, who is out of the race right now. Oh, we got trouble! TJ Crampton! Crampton's gonna have to turn it around.
As he turns it around in the entry to the pit lane, almost makes contact with the 41. Contact with Longacre.
He made contact. He made contact with
Longacre. For the same real estate heading into the pit lane, and they collide in both. And Longacre gets the best portion of that. Still going to have some damage, but around with the 61 hard into that inside wall.
I don't see how you can do that. Like, we're under caution. We're under caution. I wouldn't be, if that happened under a green flag condition, okay, I get it. But guys have to be careful. I don't know what happened there. Who are you putting the blame on for that one?
Honestly, it just looked like two cars fighting for the same real estate heading down into the pit lane. I'm not sure you can blame Longacre because he doesn't have. You're not going to have a spotter telling you there's a car to your inside there, and you're also can't really blame the 61. He was just trying to make his way into the pit lane to make his stop. So it just seemed like a racing incident. And one of the characteristics of Darlington, this is a tough pit road to get onto. Yeah,
and if we had a larger field, we'd be in the I believe two pit road categories. So that's what makes it even trickier. This is a smaller field, so everybody's on the same pit road too. As we look,
Crampton still in the pit lane in the 61, not coming out just yet, grabbing a repair. Evan Longacre apologizing over the iRacing voice chat that I can hear. So he definitely does not feel good about that one, but is going to restart in 5th as there goes the 96. Kenny Meadows making his way down into the pit lane.
Looking at our restart, looks like David Santini is going to be starting first, with Jeffrey Meyer in 2nd, Michael Whitaker in 3rd. Evan Longacre, who we've talked about quite a bit tonight so far, is going to run 4th, and Cole Hooper in the 99 has held on, and he's going to start 5th.
So Santini will lead the field back to the green flag. Chris Hansen for Ground Zero Racing looking to grab a wave around and a lap back as he was caught up in an incident earlier on in stage 1. Lights out on the iRacing official pace car. We'll be going back racing here in stage number 2. Another 45 lap stage coming up. We'll have another stage break on lap number 90. Then we'll be racing all the way to the end from there, roughly about 81 laps to the finish on lap 171. But the field gets back 2 by 2, and we'll be back racing here in the Fantastic Sam's 233, the MSRA National Series live on Apex Racing TV.
Let's check out the start that Santini gets this time around. He got one heck of a start when we started the race, so let's see what type of jump he gets. And also, let's see what what Evan Longacre does this time. Longacre was start up at the front to start the race, fell back down. He's climbed back up to 4th. Let's see what I think he's got something special under the hood of that car. Let's see what he does.
Drivers now more comfortable with their cars. They know what to look for here in the second stage as we reach the middle portion of this race.
Great jump by Santini.
Stage 2 is underway.
We got trouble.
Contact. Longacre into the wall. The 58 makes contact. Hooper down to the inside. Longacre into the wall. Whitaker making contact with him and huge damage to the back end of the 58 as well.
Big trouble on the restart right there with Evan Longacre. I don't know what happened. Unbelievable. But once again, David Santini with a heck of a jump. And he is already starting to rocket away from this field.
Looked a lot like the 58 spun his tires on the inside, made contact with the 95, and set them both up into the walls. We're on board with Kenny Meadows looking up on Longacre, making a pass on Villalobos, and now here comes Kenny Meadows trying to make a pass on Villalobos for the sixth spot on the racetrack. Meadows is going to grab it. Here comes the 61 as well.
TJ Crampton trying to climb back up the field, and Evan Longacre is going to have another stage where he has to climb through the field again. So let's see what he does. That was a really difficult restart. And I'm surprised TJ Crampton's so far down the order. Let's take a look here.
Crampton went a lap down from that pit road repair, and that did just look like the 58 made just tapped Longacre and around he went.
Yep, as we look at the end car, he clearly spun his tires.
Gonna look at the 58 and just right into the 95. Nothing Longacre could have done, and nothing really Whitaker could have done either. He didn't have control of those rear tires, could not get him to grip, and contact was made, sent Longacre into the wall. Doesn't look like a lot of damage to the 95, and he's still able to stay racing on the track as Kenny Meadows gets sideways heading through turn 2.
And Meadows got a heck of a run, got a little loose, and he's gonna luckily he held on to it. But you know, as we know, we talked about Darlington, everybody's gonna have some battle damage, so hopefully it's not gonna impact Longacre too much in the rest of this race.
So there's Longacre out in front. Kenny Meadows in 6th place, battling for 5th. Centeni, Meyer, Hooper, Whitaker, Longacre, your top 5. As Meadows still trying to close that gap on the 95 of Longacre. Longacre, of course, your points leader. Kenny Meadows comes into this race in 3rd. 5 top 5, 6 top 10s. No stage wins yet for the 96. Looking for his first here, but he did get a win at Phoenix earlier this season. Looking for a good finish here at the Darlington Raceway as they dive back into turn 1.
Yeah, Meadows definitely looks faster. He's just trying to find an opportunity to get around Longacre. He's definitely picked up the pace. Looking at the lap times, Meadows is about a 10th faster as he passes Longacre down low. Yep, he'll complete the pass, slide up, and he's going to take off from this group. And for Longacre right now, hopefully he can hold on to the back bumper of Kenny Meadows.
So Kenny Meadows now in 5th place. Evan Longacre in 6th. As Longacre falls back down the order. Now going to have to deal with Julio Villalobos Jr. behind him for GIP Racing. Back up to the battle for second. It's Meyer versus Hooper. Cole Hooper had a lot of struggles through stage 1, but it looks like fresh tires and possibly some adjustments on that Hooper Motorsports Ford Mustang has that car running a lot better. Last time by 30.66, a little bit faster than Jeffrey Meyer.
Yeah, we saw Hooper really have ride the wall a little bit, have some issues, but great job to get 3rd place. We'll see what happens with his car throughout the run. Will it fall off? Will he, or can he hopefully maintain it? Because he was really struggling toward the end of stage 1. Riding on board now with Julio Villalobos Jr. with Longacre up the front, Van Gelder behind him. Lobos running basically the same line, maybe a little lower than Longacre. Villalobos Jr. is up 5 spots from where he started in this race, so shout out to him. for climbing through the field and, keeping in the war of attrition.
He's running right in that slipstream, trying to grab a draft down the straightaways here at Darlington. Not the longest straightaways, but still offer a little bit of a tow to each of the cars if you're able to run right behind one of your competitors. Villalobos on board now on the nose, as he is getting dangerously close to the 95 of Evan Longaker. Longaker going to try and protect that inside. Slides right back up to cover the outside, not letting the 45 go on by. Villalobos going to need to work for this position as they work their way back off turn 4 on the lap 63. Right in the slipstream to the inside goes Villalobos and slides up the racetrack, almost makes contact, able to keep it off the 95 as they work back to the back straightaway.
And TJ Crampton getting involved a little bit as well. He is, I believe, a lap down, but, he looks pretty fast. Crampton looking to the inside of Longacre, thinks better of it. Now here comes Longacre looking down low on Villalobos Jr. Going down the straight. And it looks like Longacre doesn't have the speed down the straight due to the damage on his car, but, Crampton should be able to pass him pretty shortly.
The 61, remember, TJ Crampton 1 lap down after contact heading into the pit lane, forced him to get that damage repaired in the pit lane, so he sits 1 lap down, not racing Evan Longaker on the track for position. In fact, he's racing nobody for position on the racetrack right now. Needs to get that lap back during the next stage break or the next yellow flag we see on the track, whichever comes first. And there's Jeffrey Meyer sitting in the 50 in second place. Cole Hooper right behind in the 99. Can the Ford Mustang get by that Chevy Camaro down into turn 1 once again? Hooper not close enough to make a move just yet. The 50 keeps on to second as David Santini continues to pull away up front.
Absolutely. Santini hasn't pulled away as much as he did first stage, but we still have time. And credit to Hooper. Heck of a run so far in stage 2. We saw him, beating and banging the walls all over stage 1, and he's climbed up to 3rd right now, and he is right on the exhaust of Jeffrey Mayer.
Work their way back into turn 1, and you can see the similarity in the lines now between these two. Meyer floating that car up in the middle of the racetrack and then back down to the bottom to get a slingshot down the back straightaway, and it's very similar for Cole Hooper there on the track. As you can see, Hooper entering high, running closer to the wall through the exit of turn 4, much like the 50 of Jeffrey Meyer. Just trying to find that fast line, which can be difficult at Darlington, especially as the tires start to wear. We are roughly halfway through this stage. Remember, this stage going to end off on lap number 90, coming up in about 24 laps.
Hooper with a good run going into the turn. Gonna try to run maybe a little higher, get some speed coming off the turn. Gonna go to the outside, and he'll complete the pass. So Cole Hooper climbing up to second place.
A great recovery from the 99. Now, can he keep up this recovery drive? As now the next car up the road, as you can see on the timing tower on the top of your screen, 3.7 seconds up the road. It's Old School Ninjas Racing. David Centeni in the 79, and into the wall goes
we see
Cole
sparks.
Hooper.
It's happening. Oh,
hits the wall again coming off turn 4.
And we were just talking about how well Hooper was running compared to the first stage, and he hits the wall twice within a matter of seconds.
Tires
I wonder if his car is set up.
Car's starting to get maybe a little bit tighter now.
I wonder if his car is set up really strong for like a shorter run compared to other drivers who may have banked on the idea of, hey, we may not have many cautions. We're gonna need the long run. Maybe Hooper has a setup where he's saying, hey, we're gonna get caution after caution after caution potentially. I may have fresh tires, and I can take advantage of that shorter run in my setup. Looking at our battle for 7th and 8th place right now, Evan Longacre has dropped down, and with Matthew Van Gelder behind him, about a second or so back.
Taking a look at Matthew Van Gelder for Gem iRacing in the 16, currently running in 8th on the racetrack. Van Gelder this season working his way in 9th in the point standings. 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, 7 starts for the Pella, Iowa native here in the MSRA National Series. Had a 3rd place finish back in Daytona. Looks to be his best finish of the season. We'll see if he can replicate that here at Darlington.
See if he can. You know, if a heck of a track to have one of your best finishes at. Probably one of the toughest tracks on the circuit. I mean, these guys have so far raced at Daytona, Homestead Auto Club, Vegas, Phoenix, Atlanta, Martinsville, and then after that they go to Dover, and then the new track that everybody's been talking about in regards to the NASCAR style racing is Circuit of the Americas.
And remember, last time we had the broadcast here on Apex Racing TV was Daytona for the MSRA National Series. Grabbing the win there in Daytona was TJ Crampton in the 61. Also 7th in the points standings right now for Gem iRacing in that Toyota Supra. It's 100 points behind Evan Longacre in the points lead right now. 6 starts this season. 2 wins out of those 6 starts as well. Of course, one coming at Daytona. The other one came to him at Martinsville. 2 completely different tracks to grab 2 wins at this season. And still running 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, and 4 stage wins on the year as well. Currently sits 1 lap down here. He'll need to get that back here in this series, or this race, I should say. The Fantastic Sam's 233 if he wants to work his way back up into racing for the win, as we're on board with Matthew Van Gelder in the 16. You can see he's setting his eyes on Evan Longacre up in front of him as Longacre gets back into the wall, loose down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Longacre hit the wall, dropped down, and this gives an opportunity to Van Gelder to potentially move up on him and get into 7th spot. And Gelder's 9th, running 9th on the season. Potential opportunity to climb up a couple spots in the points. Looking at some of the drivers who weren't in the race this week. Timothy Davis, who's running 8th, who's 8th in the points, is not running this week. So an opportunity for Van Gelder to climb into the 8th spot.
Still on board with Matthew Van Gelder, and you can hear over the radio, I'm not sure which driver it was, but he just said, it feels like I'm driving on 3 wheels out here. So we're already seeing tire wear issues with 15 to go as the 96 hit the wall. That's Kenny Meadows falling into 6th place. A lot of damage to that right side.
Yeah, tough break from Meadows there. He got some damage, as you can see on the right side of his Toyota Supra. Allowed Julio Villalobos Jr. to get by him for 5th spot. Ooh, and it looks like Van Gelder had some trouble as well, as he was starting to close up a little bit on Evan Longacre, and then we just saw him drop to the bottom of the track. So looks like Darlington might have got the best of him as we ride on board with Matthew Van Gelder.
And Van Gelder gonna fall further on back as Cole Hooper, we talked about him in stage 1. He had a lot of issues towards the end of the stage, hitting the wall a lot. He tapped the wall a little bit after he took over 2nd place, but didn't seem to mess him up too much, as Meyer still sits in 3rd. Hooper in 2nd place, still on the racetrack, not making up a lot of time to David Santini, but not losing a lot of time as well.
Yeah, we talk about, basically in-race or in-game adjustments, and Cole Hooper, credit to him for making some big in-race adjustments. We saw him in that first stage, as we watch him right now. I thought he was getting a little loose for a second. Had a tough second half of stage 1, and I was expecting could it happen again in stage 2, but no, his car has been really, really good in this stage, and he is running consistently, in the 30-20s about. But as we know, best guy on the track right now, David Santini, at the best lap so far at this stage, but 30-14. And looking at our lap charts, our looks like our top 6 are all running in the 32, so everybody's staying, fairly competitive for the most part. But David Santini's just had a heck of a restart both times out, and it's allowed him to kind of get away, maintain a solid pace without tearing up his equipment.
Jeffrey Meyer, then the number 50 for Frontline Esports, comes into this race 5th in points. 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s, 2 stage wins, but has not been able to capture a checkered flag yet this season. It would mean a lot for him if he grabs the checkered flag, not only at such a legendary and tough track like Darlington, but also live on Apex Racing TV. We'll only be broadcasting a select few of MSRA National Series and Truck Series broadcasts this season. We have 10 laps to go now in stage number 2. And David Santini trying to go 2 for 2 in stages in that OSN Racing number 79.
It looks like Meyer's kind of caught up a little bit, Hooper, over the past few laps, so we could have potential change for a race for second place to close the stage. And as we know, those stage points are so valuable when we get to the end of the season.
And once we do get into those playoffs, like you mentioned, Jonathan, those stage wins and those playoff points are going to become ever so important. The driver with the most playoff points, obviously the driver with the most wins on the season with 2. It is the TJ Crampton with 14 playoff points. Michael Whitaker has 5 playoff points this season for his 1 win on the season. Stage wins net you 2 playoff points. A race win nets you 5.
Yeah. Well, actually, we haven't mentioned Whitaker much of this race, and right now he is climbing onto the back. Jeffrey Meyer looks like Meyer's having a little trouble trying to hold on, whereas Whitaker's getting some really good runs right now, as you can see. Whitaker high, and he'll easily make that pass. So Whitaker will jump into 3rd place. It's like Meyer kind of was like, all right, you got it. I'm not going to race you too hard. Here you go, take off.
Whitaker moves himself further up the road into 3rd place. 7 laps to go in stage 2 now, and we saw on the restart heading into stage 2 that damage on the back end of Michael Whitaker doesn't seem to be affecting that car all too much. But Jonathan, you mentioned a clean race for the 79. I think he hit the wall somewhere on the racetrack. We can get a good look at that rear end. The right rear looks to have just a slight bit of damage to that 79 machine. And we'll see on this camera angle how much damage that is exactly. Doesn't look like a whole lot to that bottom right rear, but it just looks like he might have tapped the wall at some point here tonight.
Yes, Santini hasn't put a foot wrong really in this race, and as you just noticed, Josh, he's hit the wall a tiny bit. And he's got a teeny tiny bit of damage, but pretty much compared to everyone else, his car looks in, pretty much tip-top shape.
5 laps to go in stage 2. And we're also, I believe, just now officially halfway done with tonight's Fantastic Sam's 233. Live here on Apex Racing TV. Just about to conclude stage number 2 of action. You're on board with Cole Hooper, Michael Whitaker in the Area 51 chassis design number 58 on a mission now as they race through turns 1 and 2, trying to take over the 2nd spot before the stage break.
Whitaker's car has come alive over the past 10 laps. Let's see what he can do taking on Cole Hooper here. We saw him pass Meyer. Let's see what he can do. Whitaker to the outside, it's a little loose, saves it. Let's see if he can gather it back up and make another run to pass Hooper before the end of the stage. Last time by Whitaker was flying. He was a second faster than Cole Hooper. As we ride on board with Michael Whitaker right now, driving a little lower line than Hooper.
Whitaker trying his best to get by the 99 of Cole Hooper, and you can see Hooper getting a little bit loose in that 99. Seems like his car is set up to go looser as they go through the run instead of tighter like we're used to seeing here at Darlington.
Here we go.
Hooper throws the block to the inside as Michael Whitaker tries to get by into turn 1.
Good defensive driving by Hooper right there. He knows Whitaker is definitely faster than him, but he's going to try to hold on because those stage points are so important, and also that track position when we go to pit road. Whitaker right on his bumper. Is that great camera angle right there. Whitaker's going to go low. Now he goes high. 2x2 into the turn. And let's see, Hooper's going to slide up.
Almost hitting the wall is the 99. He keeps it going through the corner. He's able to hold on to it. One more lap to go. Hits the wall coming off turn 2. Whitaker now goes for the spot. And he's going to take over P2 in the 58 as David Santini goes 2 for 2 in stage 2.
And Hooper was able to kind of recover, and Michael Whitaker will finish second in stage 2 here at the Fantastic Sam's 2:33. We see TJ Crampton. He will be the lucky dog.
Yes, he will be. That's going to be great for him.
And as you mentioned, we were talking about clean cars, and Crampton's car is pretty clean. Granted, he had that incident going on to pit road, but we don't see a lot of battle damage.
Caution now out on the racetrack for this break for stage number 2. It's David Santini for OSN Racing grabbing the win in the second stage of the night here in the MSRA National Series. Fantastic Sam's 2:33. An outfit fitting it is for Old School Ninjas Racing. That we have the Old School Ninjas ad read up on my screen right now. Old School Ninjas is a gaming organization that focuses on building a community with close friends. We welcome new individuals to the group with a red carpet and a seat at the round table. Feel free to check out our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord. We await your arrival. Old School Ninjas Racing driver David Santini grabs the win here in stage 2. As everybody now making their way into the pit lane for 4 fresh Goodyear tires and 2 cans of Sunoco fuel.
So we'll see what happens coming into this final stage. Thanks for everyone who's watching on Apex Racing TV tonight. Looking at the live chat, I see a few people. And you know what? If you like what you see, subscribe to Apex Racing on YouTube. Hit the bell icon, and you will be notified when we go live. Like or comment in the videos. So just remember to do that, or check it out on Twitch, or like, follow, whatever you want on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just find the username Apex Racing TV.
Out of pit road first will be David Santini. Michael Whitaker in second. TJ Crampton waiting to take his wave around to go back to the lead lap. And then we can expect him to make his way into the pit lane.
Interesting what Crampton does in this last stage. He was running all alone, and he's going to be our lucky dog, so he'll be back on the lead lap. And he has a clean car, and he's pretty fast.
Looking for a third win on the season is TJ Crampton as well. We know he has speed. Just what exactly can he do with it? We've seen a lot of fast cars tonight, Jonathan, have speed, but these drivers just keep getting into the wall as the run goes later on and the tires wear off. You need to keep the car clean if you want to get that win.
It's survival of the fittest. We talk about, we say Bristol's the last Coliseum, but in a lot of ways, Darlington, we call it it's called the Lady in Black for a reason. The Darlington stripe is known for a reason. It's really survival of the fittest. Who can, keep their car somewhat clean, keep their tires, somewhat healthy to, make it through a run. And it's been interesting this race. We haven't had any cautions. And watch as I say that, our final stage is going to be caution filled.
We'll definitely find out here in the MSRA National Series as we continue to work under the yellow flag. David Santini will lead him back to the green flag. Michael Whitaker in second. Matthew Van Gelder, Cole Hooper, and Kenny Meadows. Or sorry, Jeffrey Meyer will round out your top 5 as Meadows makes his way back down into the pit lane. We mentioned at the beginning of this race, Jonathan, the 6 additional tire sets that each of these drivers have. They've only used 2 additional tire sets, so each of these drivers still have 4 to use. I'm expecting if we have at least a couple of cautions here in this final stage, or even if we don't, we're at least going to see one more pit stop, possibly the stage just cut in half, but we might see more drivers coming down into the pit lane if we see cautions, because they have a lot of tires to play with.
Absolutely, you just hit the nail on the head right there. We haven't had a caution, so therefore there's a lot of tires sitting on pit road that haven't been used yet. And if you're a driver, that's looking to, make a quick jump up the field, you definitely, and you're not, you're not feeling it, jump in and get those tires. And I want to see what happens up front here with Santini, because he's run so well. Here's we go, pace car comes off. Let's see if Santini gets another jump like he has the past few restarts.
Stage number 3 for the MSRA National Series is underway. We're going to race to the checkered flag. Contact further back as everybody stacks up on the restart.
Yeah, Santini and Whitaker were able to get away, but Santini once again with a massive jump. Unbelievable. As we ride on board TJ Crampton with Julio Villas-Lobos Jr. right in front of him right now. And Evan Longacre sitting out the back. As we talked about, let's see what Crampton does this stage. He's finally back on the lead lap. He has a fast and clean car.
And already going to the back, Matthew Van Gelder in the 16. We talked about him a little bit earlier on. He's been having troubles all day long, going to continue to have troubles as he falls back to 9th. On board with Julio Villalobos Jr., TJ Crampton in the 61, trying to work his way back up through the field.
Yeah, he needs to get by Villalobos pretty quickly so he can get up and try to take on Meyer and Hooper.
Dives back into turn number 1. The 61. Somebody getting loose up front. I believe that was the 45. No, it was the 50. Jeffrey Meyer down to the inside of the racetrack. Falls all the way down to 7th. Contact with the right side. I think he hit the wall heading through turns 1 and 2. We saw smoke up ahead. I think that's exactly what happened to the 50.
Let's take a look. Oh, looks like it happened prior. Here we go. Meyer gets up.
Might have happened on the lap after this one here, but either way, just had issues heading through the corner, unfortunately.
And Hooper makes a move over Whitaker.
Hooper gets by Whitaker now. Hooper back up to P2, Whitaker back down to P3.
Yeah, these two guys were yin and yang last time around. Hooper, Whitaker came flying through the pack, was able to get up to 2nd place in stage 2, whereas Hooper seemed like he had a stronger car early in the stage and was able just to kind of maintain throughout it. So this will be an interesting battle to watch as these two guys battle for 2nd place. And they are currently sitting about a second and a half behind our leader, David Santini.
On board with Whitaker as he works his way through turns 1 and 2 to the back straightaway. Hooper starting to pull away, but nobody able to really close that gap to David Santini up in front. He's led every single lap tonight from the pole and continuing to lead up there in the 79. As we are on 70 laps to go here in this race, stage number 3. We're racing to the checkered flag after this one.
Right on, as we watch Michael Whitaker currently sitting in 3rd place. Now we check out TJ Crampton, someone we were expecting to watch move through the field, and he still looks like he's stuck behind Julio Villalobos Jr. I was expecting Crampton to really make easy work of Julio, but Julio's done a great job sitting in 4th place right now.
Back through turns 1 and 2. Crampton looking for his 3rd win of the season. Needs to get by the 45 to do so. Not able to get close enough to make a move. You can see him gets a little bit loose coming off of turn 2. Crampton right behind. Evan Longaker behind him as they look forward to Julio Villalobos Jr. Villalobos up 8 spots from where he originally started the night in 12th. He's having a great day. Same thing with TJ Crampton, up 4 spots from where he originally started in 9th.
Great runs to both of them. Crampton running the wall pretty high. And as you mentioned, Joshua, great shout out to Villalobos Jr. He's had a great run, up 8 spots from where he started. He's kept his car relatively clean for the most part. He has a little bow damage, just like everyone else, but nothing too bad.
Gets a little bit sideways coming off of turn 4, keeps it going straight as they head on to lap number 105. I'd like to thank really quickly Shorba's Racing Graphics. You can see their logo on the top left of the screen right now. Shorba's Racing Graphics offers great services at affordable prices. SRG does work with iRacing paints, logos, numbers, and even t-shirts. $5 from each sale are donated to the Midwest Sim Racing Association end-of-season prizes as a way of giving back to the community. Visit them on Facebook at Shorba's Racing Graphics. Continuing to work lap number 106. We're on board with TJ Crampton looking for 4th place on Julio Villalobos. Gip Racing versus Gem iRacing as they head back down the back straightaway.
And these two guys are pretty much dead even. Last time around, Villalobos Jr. 31-38, TJ Crampton at 31-39. So there's not much between these two guys as they battle for 4th place.
You can see that they're stuck in the bubble right now. When we talk about it with oval racing, it's that bubble of air that you get when you're running behind another car. You can't seem to get any closer, but you're not also falling back. Crampton's just stuck there with Villalobos, not able to make anything happen.
It's also such a difficult track to pass on. We get to a track, let's just say, for example, even like a Martinsville, or even we get to one of the bigger intermediates, there's multiple options to try to move around a guy. Whereas Darlington, you have maybe half a lane or a lane to get by a guy, and everybody's running very similar lines, so it just makes it such a difficult track to pass on. As we see Villalobos hit the wall a little bit, as we go to Longacre, looks like he's continuing his troubles, unfortunately.
The rapid-fired pizza number 95 for Great Lakes Motorsports. More issues for him. He went all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Not sure if he was just letting him go or if he had an issue, but he falls now to 7th place. And with David Santini leading the way, Santini came into this race 2nd in points, but he was 32 points down. I don't think he'll have an opportunity to take the points lead, but he will at least make up a pretty decent chunk with those stage wins as well to the points lead in the MSRA National Series on Evan Longaker in the 95.
Absolutely, he'll close that gap for sure. And as we watch this battle, which has been a great battle so far for 4th, Crampton's gotten a lot closer to Villalobos Jr. over the past few laps. And right now, he is pretty much on his back bumper.
Can Crampton make a move on the 45 of Julio Villalobos Jr.? Back through turns 3 and 4.
Great run for Crampton.
Very close, looks to the outside through turn 4. Not going to be able to make it happen. He goes for the crossover. Doesn't get enough of a run coming onto the front straightaway. Does he go for the dive into turn 1? Blocked by the 45 as they work through turn 2.
This is the best racing I think we've seen pretty much so far today. What a heck of a battle between these two guys who are pretty much dead even.
Down the back straightaway into turn 3. Crampton loses a bit of time. Villalobos sits in for this. They work through turns 3 and 4. You can see Crampton gets a great run through the middle of 3 and 4. The 45 not able to respond through the middle, but able to respond down the straightaways. He gets a great run off the corner, great run into turn 1, blocking everywhere Crampton wants to go as they continue to follow on each other's tire tracks.
Crampton's maybe a 1/10 of a second faster as he makes a run to the inside. Will it be enough? Crampton low, Villalobos Jr. high, Crampton with the slide, and he'll complete the pass.
Crampton up to 4th now, 8.3 seconds back from your leader, and roughly 60 laps now to try and work his way back up there, and we still have pit stops on the way. You can expect drivers as we went green at about lap 95, and we were racing to lap 171. That's about 76 laps. You can expect possibly the first couple of drivers, to start working their way down pit road around lap 130. So it's very possible that we'll see drivers start to make their way into pit road for tires there. Longacre very sideways coming off turn 4.
Yeah, Longacre's had a rough race so far, unfortunately. You know, he had the pit row incident. He got caught up in a restart issue, and right now I think he's just trying to play, you know, damage control for the most part. Right, he's running in 8th. The only other guy behind him on the track right now is Kenny Meadows in the 96.
Oh, Longacre back into the wall as well in the 95 through turn 3.
Oh!
Still sideways, the 95, all kinds of all over the place now on the racetrack.
Yeah, Longacre's he's just surviving right now. This is just a matter of survival for him, and maybe hopefully something ahead of him happens and you can pick a position or two off, and he is, wow, if we watch the in-car right now, he is working that wheel in the corners.
95. He is just all over the place. This is exactly what we saw from Cole Hooper at the end of stage 1. The car just becomes borderline undrivable as Longacre's back in the wall. There.
Yeah, he is. He's gone beyond Cole Hooper. If Cole Hooper was the base, Evan Longacre right now has gone beyond, and he just needs to hang on. Oh!
Hard into the wall goes Longacre, spinning down the back straightaway. He keeps it going straight, still no caution. Says over the iRacing voice chat that hurt, and continues to run forward.
That definitely did hurt for sure. I thought he was going to go around, and he's put the smart move, jumping into the pits. Wonder if he hit the wall! Oh my goodness!
That might have been the best way to retire from a race I have ever seen. He said, I am done with this race, and slams it into the wall. And that pit wall is there because those pit boxes at the tail end of Darlington's pit road aren't used. So he just slams it into the wall there and calls it a night.
That was the iRacing equivalent, I think, of the time Tony Stewart in the now Xfinity series just saying, the heck with it, I'm going home. So, tough night for Evan Longacre. He'll probably keep the points lead, but a really, really rough night for him, and he just decided to coup de grace shot. As we watch Julio Villalobos Jr. running in 5th place, up 7 from where he started, so he's had a great night. He's been the hard charger award, definitely, for sure.
On board now with Jeffrey Meyer, frontline eSports driver, trying to catch up to Villalobos and work his way into the top 5 tonight. Top 8 cars on the racetrack right now on the lead lap. Evan Longacre scored in 9th off the racetrack. Chris Hansen in 10th. Only completed 44 laps. Christopher Watkins only completed 33 in 11th. Nicholas Ebby completed 14 laps. He's in 12th. And James Love, an unfortunate early end for him, only completed 8 laps. He is scored in 13th. Jeffrey Meyer down to the bottom of the racetrack on Julio Villalobos, looking for the spot.
Meyer looking to make a comeback. He had some issues earlier in the stage, and he's going to make the pass and get back into 5th place. I was just supposed to say, it's sad. It's that two of our big throwback liveries are out of the race with the Jeff Gordon Flame scheme and the Ricky Bobby Wonderbread scheme. So tough night for the big time throwback liveries.
So Jeffrey Meyer punches his way into the top 5. That puts Julio Villalobos Jr. down into 6th. Villalobos still up 6 spots from where he originally started the day in 12th. So definitely not a bad day by any means for Villalobos, as he falls down to 6th, falling 2 spots during the stage to TJ Crampton and Jeffrey Meyer. Santini, Hooper, Whitaker, Crampton, and Meyer now your top 5, as we are under 50 laps to go now here in the final stage of the Fantastic Sam's 233 for the MSRA National Series.
Yeah, Santini's pulled out to almost a 5-second lead so far in this stage. Hooper running 2nd, and about a second or so behind him is Michael Whitaker. So the top 3 have, gone about their business pretty much. And as we talked about, TJ Crampton, who's been the big mover this stage, he was the lucky dog, and now he is currently sitting in 4th spot. So big credit to him so far this stage, climbing through the field. And we take a look at Cole Hooper running in 2nd with Whitaker about a half a second, looks like 4/10 of a second running behind him. Josh, let's see, when would you pit?
I'll be looking at pitting in about 5 laps, because I'd be trying to just cut the stage in half, grab those tires, be good to the end on fuel, and work my way through the field. I'm wondering when you would pit, Jonathan, since you asked me, because I don't see really any other option than just cutting the stage in half to make sure that you have the same tires that you're going to be ending the race with as the ones you have on now.
I think I would agree with you, especially if you're someone like David Santini, who's had a pretty easy race so far. Just cut the stage in half, keep it simple. You have them to wear your tires super hard. You don't have to go super long. Just cut the stage in half, and if a caution comes out or something happens, you got all these extra sets waiting for you, ready to go. But as this race has played out so far, we haven't had any cautions outside of the stages.
Has been a fairly slow night on pit road. 6 additional tire sets available to each driver. They've only used 2 tonight in both of the stage breaks, so they still have 4 to play with, which is a decent amount of additional tire sets that they can still use, and especially with not that much racing left, definitely going to have some tires left over at the end of the night, but looking to at least use 1 more tire set, as I don't believe anybody is both good to the end on fuel and wants to run 75 lap old tires to the finish. I don't think that's a good idea at any track, especially here at Darlington, where after roughly 30 laps you're wanting new tires. I wouldn't run them double that distance.
No.
1 car in, Kenny Meadows.
Meadows jumps into the pits.
Now, will this start the chain reaction of pit stops? Because Meadows is in. It's close to roughly when we could see a scheduled stop, so I'm not going to call it an unscheduled stop. He didn't run into any problems on
early in the window. It's in the window, but on the early side. It was interesting. I was looking at our SDK live timing here. I was watching Michael Whitaker, and I was thinking this is when his car really started to come alive. The last stage, but he's been able to hang on, and Cole Hooper as well has been able to kind of maintain his pace as well. But they are sitting about 6 seconds behind our leader, David Santini. So we're right on board with Whitaker. And watching his onboards, he hasn't had to saw the wheel as hard as much as we've seen other drivers. If you watch right now, as we saw Cole Hooper earlier, he was sawing away. We saw Evan Longacre sawing away, and Whitaker's kept it pretty calm.
Back through turns 1 and 2, and we're still on board with Michael Whitaker. Cole Hooper's car not turning into that evil number 99 that we saw at the tail end of stage 1, and slightly towards the middle of the tail end of stage 2. It looks to be still working for him out there on the racetrack, as the 99 keeps in 2nd place, but Whitaker trying to reel him in. About 4.5 tenths separate these two as they come across the line. About 41 laps to go.
I think Hooper's going to come in soon for tires. As we watched the past few laps, we've seen a few sparks come from his car, brushing up against the wall. So I would not be surprised if we see him duck into the pits in the next few laps.
Cooper running the top of the racetrack, definitely experimenting up there. Whitaker is in. 51 down into pit road.
The first of our top 5 to come in, Michael Whitaker. That moves TJ Crampton up to 3rd spot. And we'll see where Whitaker comes out.
So Whitaker, the first of the lead lap cars to come in. Kenny Meadows came in, got a lot of damage repaired. He's now 3 laps down. We'll see if Villalobos is going to follow him in along with Matthew Van Gelder. Nobody from the top 5. As I said, that TJ Crampton comes into pit lane. The 61 is in.
Just as you say it, Crampton comes in. And that puts Meyer back up into 3rd spot where he was running earlier. And let's see what Hooper and David Santini do. How long do they stay out as they see everyone else around them starting to make pit stops? Oh! Hold on to it, Jeffrey!
He missed the pit entry, I think. No, he's going to make it. He will make the pit entry, but a bit of a scary entry there at that for Jeffrey Meyer in Frontline Esports. Sliding into the pit lane. Here's your leader, David Santini. He continues to stay out. Van Gelder is in. Now, the only 3 we're waiting on, Cole Hooper, Julio Villalobos Jr., and your leader, David Santini.
And Hooper still sitting about 6 seconds apart. So, and looking at the times, I mean, Santini has been the fastest guy on the track with older tires. Look at the last few laps, he's been solidly in the 32s, whereas Hooper's jumped around a little bit between the high 32s and the low 33s. And as we say that, here comes David Santini into the pit.
Oh! Entry! Hard contact to the barrels!
Oh dear!
Contact to the back end too as he reverses it. That's going to lead to damage on the 79. Santini backs it into the wall. How will this affect his race? He almost missed the pit entry. He might have got an unsafe pit entry as well.
Yeah, did he make the pit entry? Because he whacked the cone. Let's take a look.
He made it into the yellow cones, but I'm not sure if that's going to be an unsafe pit entry from the orange cone that he hit on the racetrack.
I can't believe he didn't put a foot wrong, but we saw a few guys really struggle to get onto pit road. So it can't be too shocking to us, but David Santini hasn't put a foot wrong the entire race. And that puts Cole Hooper currently into 1st place. And let's see where Santini, falls out of here. And Hooper's in trouble! Oh, he saves it.
On pit entry, but he's gonna get it in. No damage to that car.
He has been sawing that wheel the entire race.
Now, very long stop for David Santini, as our producer Marco Barbonero just said. Michael Whitaker is now expected to take over this race lead. TJ Crampton in 2nd place.
Unbelievable. We've had a pretty quiet race so far, and when pit stops started happening, everything just went wild. Had a little excitement, which has been really great so far.
And here comes Villalobos in. You can hear him shifting down into 3rd gear. Goes off of the banking in the 45 and into the pit lane. So that is everybody done with their green flag stops. Everybody good to the end. Not expecting anybody else to come down into the pit lane now. But there was your race leader, David Santini, in the 79. Now down into 7th. And Michael Whitaker in the 58, expected to take the lead, and there he goes. Whitaker now in first as Villalobos is in the pit lane. The gap between Whitaker and Crampton, 7.3 seconds. The 58 was just gifted a 7.5-second lead from that one mistake from David Santini, and the only mistake that the 79 has made all day.
Yes, yeah, that is the only mistake. He hadn't put a foot wrong the entire race. He was on cruise control, and then getting into the pits was an experience. It was really, really rough. I mean, I don't know. That 3 minutes we just had right there was wild. We had guys struggling to get onto pit road, and then we saw our leader, who was, basically another galaxy, just struggled. I'm speechless right now.
Closing in on 30 laps to go here in the Fantastic Sam's 2:33. Villalobos made his way off of the pit lane, scored in 5th. Santini is scored in 7th, and he lost, unfortunately, a lap on that stop, so he is 1 lap down. Same thing with, I believe, Matthew Van Gelder. If not, he's very close to going a lap down on the racetrack.
We watch our leader, Michael Whitaker, last time around, ran a 31.5. TJ Crampton second, ran a 30.91, so Crampton's got some speed under that car, but Whitaker has a 7-second lead, which, as you said, was perfectly said, was gifted to him.
And there's Santini on the racetrack for Old School Ninjas Racing. Just such an unfortunate end to his day. And unless we get a caution, that is going to spell the end of the day for David Santini. He's not going to be able to walk away with the win tonight. And just an unfortunate end for that number 79. And made no mistakes all day long. One mistake heading into the pit lane, and that spells the end of his day and the end of his chances to walk away with the victory. But leading the way, it's Michael Whitaker in the 58, TJ Crampton in second place, Cole Hooper, Jeffrey Meyer, Julio Villalobos rounds out your top 5 as we are now inside 30 laps to go in the Fantastic Sam's 2:33 for the MSRA National Series live on Apex Racing TV. We have a good amount of upcoming events here on Apex Racing TV that you can find, and all of those upcoming events can be found either here on youtube.com/ApexRacingTV or over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ApexRacingTV. And by the way, if you follow with the SDK Gaming live timing that we offer here on Apex Racing TV, using the Twitch stream is going to be a lot easier for you, a lot lower latency. You'll be able to keep up with the action a little bit better than on YouTube. So check out our Twitch streams, twitch.tv/ApexRacingTV. Grab a follow there, get notified whenever we go live, and click the notification bell here on YouTube, get notified whenever we go live here as well. But coming up tomorrow here on Apex Racing TV, it's a full day of open wheel action. Apex Racing Academy F3 VRS Super Series returns for round 4 at Montreal. The Formula 3.5 Championship round 8 at Interlagos. Then on Sunday, full day of action with 3 different races and 3 different series. Apex Racing League GT Championship presented by Colbeck at Long Beach. SRF Weekend Warriors at round 8 at Olton Park. IGP Fun F3 VRS Series for round 8 at Montreal. And the 45 of Villalobos comes back into the pit lane.
Yeah, let's wonder why. Let's see what happened. Wonder what happened to him.
Definitely an unscheduled pit stop. Possible wall hit for the 45 once again. Gonna come down pit road. Looks like he'll grab a bit of damage repair. That's gonna put him now 1 lap down, and gonna put Kenny Meadows up into 7th place from 8th.
Meadows could definitely, he'd be really thrilled to gain a few positions, because looking at the points coming into the race, he was 3 points ahead of our leader, Michael Whitaker. And Whitaker having a great run tonight, he could potentially jump up to, third, potentially second in points, depending on what David Santini does. But getting back to what you were talking about, with all the great racing we have coming up on Apex Racing TV over the next few days, my favorite personally, because I'm biased because I work on the broadcast, is SRF Weekend Warriors. You can't beat watching 50 Spec Racer Fords running around in tight, crazy, close battles. So if you're looking for a new series to watch on Apex Racing TV, I'm going to tell you, take John Grabowski's personal preference, the SRF Weekend Warrior series.
And I will also, because Marco's working production, can't talk for us, but IGP Fun F3 VRS has over 50 Formula 3 cars on each grid. So that was also another exciting one that you can check out on Apex Racing TV. And going through the rest of the week, iRacing Israel League, Rikmatech World Challenge, Ray Esports Racing League, Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship, the Radical Racing Challenge, Next Level Racing, Sim Racers Asia, and obviously the Apex Racing League Prototype Championship that me and my colleague Dane Baird were on earlier today, as Crampton gets a little bit close to Santini. Santini trying to work his way up through the field. He is not racing TJ Crampton. Crampton's in second place on the racetrack right now. Santini trying to get his lap back.
Yeah, Santini's we know he's got a fast race car. We wonder how much that incident on pit road impacted him, but looks like he still has some oomph in it. And he's ran a great race. He knows how to manage his tires, and maybe he can, if he gets the opportunity, can climb back up and get a chance with the caution. But we only have 21 laps to go.
Time quickly running out, and those 21 turn to 20 laps to go here in the Fantastic Sam's 233, the MSRA National Series. They work back through turns 1 and 2. Michael Whitaker leads the way after the mistake on pit road from David Santini. GJ Crampton, Cole Hooper, Jeffrey Meyer, and Matthew Van Gelder are your top 5. And David Santini, still sitting 1 lap down, needs to work his way past Michael Whitaker if he wants to get back to the lead lap. One car completely in the wall in the back straightaway. I think that was Kenny McMeadows. No,
that's
Cole Hooper from third place to the 99 around on that straightaway. Meadows gets into the wall on the front straightaway.
That was like a dump and run, kind of. Let's check out what the Hooper
incident. He just tapped the wall coming off turn 2 once again. Hard into the inside wall on the left side.
Let's see what happened here. Villalobos. Let's see. Yep, Meadows was loose. Villalobos just got into the back of him. And that's how that story was written. But Cole Hooper has to be exhausted when this race is over. His arms must be just, ginormous by the end of the race, because he has been sawing at that wheel all night long.
The 58 of Michael Whitaker leads the way. Crampton still sitting about 9.8 seconds back. Whitaker got gifted that 7.5 second lead and has been running away with it ever since. So we have 17 laps to go from the virtual Darlington.
Looks like he's just about to put a lap on Van Gelder as we watch Meadows go into the pits. We're now with a 10-second lead over TJ Crampton, sitting in second, with Jeffrey Mayer in third. And it looks like Whitaker, let's see, I thought Van Gelder was going to let him by right there a little bit, but maybe not. But if you're Michael Whitaker, just take it easy. There's been some interesting things going on in this stage. Don't get caught up in lap traffic. Yep, looks like Van Gelder's just going to drop low, let him go.
Yeah, and then Gelder communicated to him on the iRacing voice chat, working down the back straightaway. He let him by on the front stretch. So definitely some good sportsmanship happening there on the racetrack. But that's going to put now everybody 1 lap down except for your top 3. Whitaker, Crampton, and Meyer. The only 3 cars left on the lead lap here tonight. as we continue to work. 15 laps to go. Got a quickly turn to 14 to go as Whitaker comes across the line. The Area 51 chassis design number 58 looking for his second win of the season and his first since Auto Club some 5 rounds ago.
Be a huge points night from Michael Whitaker with people like Kenny Meadows and David Santini running into issues tonight. This will be a huge night for him, and he'll get even closer to Evan Longacre, who was first, and he, as we saw, he had a very, very difficult evening. As we look at TJ Crampton, another guy who will climb up the points, Kyler Mollering, who was running ahead of him in the points, is not here tonight, so TJ will jump up into, looks like, looking at the stats, looks like he'll jump into 6th. Jeffrey Mayer still running strong in 3rd, who came into tonight 5th in points.
On board with David Santini, who came in as the points leader in the 79. Where he is now in 6th, I think he'll keep, or sorry, he came in 2nd in points, my apologies. Longacre came in as your points leader. But Santini, where he is right now, definitely most likely going to be overtaken by Kenny Meadows and maybe Michael Whitaker at the end of the race in terms of the point standings, as Villalobos had a lot of damage and damage to the engine as well. To the 45, he made head-on contact with something, presumably the backstretch wall.
Yeah, he got.
Oh, back into the car. That was Kenny Meadows.
Kenny Meadows again, or is this from? Or is this the same? That's from earlier.
So it must have been.
But maybe that led to the.
Yeah, it could have possibly been a punched hole in the radiator that led to an overheating issue on the engine, and unfortunately led the engine to expire on Julio Villalobos Jr. I don't think it was a different incident. Here's David Santini possibly getting into an incident heading down into turn 3.
Passes Hooper right there. So Santini's kind of climbed up, has done a great job kind of climbing back from his pit road issues, and Hooper's, who was running so strong in the 2nd stage and earlier in this final stage, has started to drop back a little bit. I think he's the... I'm looking at everyone else on track. He's ahead of Villalobos, who's, as we saw, smoking profusely in the pits. So tough final half of this stage for Cole Hooper.
9 laps to go now on the racetrack. It's still Michael Whitaker out in front by a considerable 11 seconds over 2nd place TJ Crampton. As we continue to work our way to the checkered flag here in the fantastic Sam's 233. Want to give a shout out to more of our sponsors here on Apex Racing TV, including Virtual Racing School, as they offer 50+ data packs for both road and oval racing, setups, track guides, data analysis software, and one-on-one coaching. You can head over to virtualracingschool.com for information on that, as well as head over to apexracingac.com for information on Apex Racing Academy. 29 data packs with setups, track guides, weekly group coaching sessions, and more, and it's all integrated with Virtual Racing School as well. Once again, apexracingac.com for information on Apex Racing Academy. Then, obviously, providing all the overlays tonight is our producer, Marco Barbonera, but he is using SDK Gaming. You can head over to sdk-gaming.co.uk for pricing options, where you can add a virtual live HUD to iRacing, show timing towers, enhance relative boxes, mini-maps, fuel calculators, and more. Broadcast your league and series as SDK Gaming syncs your commentary team's cameras, focus, drive, and overlay with your broadcaster. You can head over to sdk-gaming.co.uk for more information on that. 6 laps to go here in the fantastic Sam's 233 for the MSRA National Series. Working our way to the checkered flag. Michael Whitaker continues to lead the way. TJ Crampton in 2nd. Jeffrey Meyer in 3rd. Matthew Van Gelder in 4th, with David Santini rounding out your top 10. 5 to go at the line.
Whitaker has checked out with a 12.5-second lead over TJ Crampton right now. So great second half of the race to Michael Whitaker. We didn't see him much in the first half of the race, and then toward the end of stage 2, he really came on, and he is, he got lucky. We know that he got lucky, but he's made the most of the opportunity, so he is going to have a really good night with 5 to go here. And also, while we're at, as we show Matthew Van Gelder, big shout to him. He's up 7 spots from where he started. So, solid night for Matthew Van Gelder.
Four laps to go now as we focus on the 16 of Matthew Van Gelder for Gem iRacing. Came into tonight's race, 9th in the point standings, 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, looking to add a number to each of those columns to make it 3 and 3. As they work their way through turns 3 and 4, and your leader, Michael Whitaker, gonna cross the start-finish line. 3 laps to go now.
As we mentioned, David Santini is coming up on Van Gelder. This would be a battle for 4th. Santini is a little bit faster. It's about 0.3 of a second faster. And let's see if he could climb up into the 4th spot before the end of this race with 3 to go.
On board with Santini. He is racing the car in front of him, Matthew Van Gelder. Van Gelder goes up the track, rides the wall as they head back onto the front straightaway. 2 to go now. Santini running out of time, needs to make up a half a second on the 16 up front.
It's quite possible. Looks like Van Gelder is trying to hold on. Santini, as we look inside, he is pretty quiet with the hands right there, so he's not sawing at the wheel. His car isn't really loose. He's been able to kind of get a good handle, and he gets a really great run off that turn, as we can see. Gonna run the higher line.
Coming to the white flag, one more lap around the virtual Darlington Raceway for Michael Whitaker, as he'll lead the field back through turns 1 and 2. We didn't talk about him much through the first 2 stages, but during green flag pit stops in stage 3, unfortunately led to the race leader all race long, David Santini, to have an issue in the pit lane. Michael Whitaker pounced at the opportunity, took over a 7.5 gap lead, and now stretches it out to 13.5 seconds as he crosses the start-finish line. Michael Whitaker victorious in Darlington.
And Van Gelder's going to hold on for 4th spot, beating a climbing back David Santini. So, great run tonight for Matthew Van Gelder. Jeffrey Meyer, he ran 3rd. Great night for him as well. And 2nd place, big shout to TJ Crampton, who at one point was the lucky dog, climbed back up and finished in 2nd spot.
Great day for him, and an equally great day for Michael Whitaker. His 2nd win of the season, his 1st since Auto Club earlier this season. And the 58 is going to burn it down on the front straightaway here at the virtual Darlington.
Celebratory donuts from Whitaker.
Full race results now on your screen. Michael Whitaker grabs the win. TJ Crampton in 2nd. Jeffrey Meyer in 3rd. Matthew Van Gelder in 4th, with David Santini rounding out your top 5. Cole Hooper ends up in 6th. Kenny Meadows in 7th. Julio Villalobos Jr. in 8th. Evan Longaker in 9th, with Chris Hansen rounding out your top 10. Christopher Watkins in 11th. Nicholas Eby in 12th. And James Love ends up in 13th. As your full race results here on Apex Racing TV for the Fantastic Sam's 233 in the MSRA National Series. We wait to see if we'll get any post-race interviews. It looks like we have one down there now that we're going to go ahead and pull up. Standing by with Jonathan Grabowski, 2nd place finisher, TJ Crampton.
TJ, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on a really great 2nd place.
Thank you. It was pretty tough out there. It's not a lot of grip, but the 61 was a bit loose on sometimes, and then the last run was way too tight. So made a wrong adjustment, but I played the strategy pretty good and came home with P2.
Yeah. So you were the lucky dog at one point in this race. So how were you able to climb back through and finish in 2nd?
Well, I just made a mistake. I was too busy fixing damage and not knowing where the pace car was, but lucky dog, and just got by Julio there. He was holding me up a little bit, but got by him, and his strategy pretty much just came into my favor.
So it's throwback weekend here. You are throwing a throwback livery for yourself. Talk about that.
Yeah, this is a throwback to my 2014 real life racing debut on the dirt. Started in quarter midgets, but that was my debut for dirt racing, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to throw back to that. Had a lot of good memories with that car, and cool to see it on the track here at Darlington.
Awesome. So before we wrap up, is there anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank my team owner, Matthew Van Gelder. He makes the setups every week, and they're always fast. I want to thank Edelbrock, Big O Tires, and all of the league sponsors, obviously. Old School Ninjas. Gotta find the page here. Gotta thank Fire Pizza and Shorba's Racing Graphics.
Great. Well, TJ, congratulations on a great drive to second place, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Great to hear from TJ Crampton, second place finisher here in Darlington. And seemed like the challenge today, Jonathan, was just managing those tires, because we saw a lot of fast race cars turn evil after the tires started to wear off. So it was just very, very difficult to keep those tires in a working temperature, and not only that, make sure their cars stayed clean to have a race at the end of the race.
Absolutely. And what I noticed when we were watching the in cars, that the fastest cars, the best cars, the drivers' hands were so calm. They weren't fighting the steering wheel. They weren't trying to they were just being really casual through the turns. They had a really great setup. So as we saw when we looked at David Santini's car and we looked at Michael Whitaker's car, they were really calm inside the cockpit. So I think that was the key to them, was great setups and great race management.
And speaking of great race management, we had great race management from David Santini, but then one mistake took him completely out of the race. He was perfect for every single lap up until that one where he made his way down into the pit lane, and it's just so unfortunate, because he was the fastest car all day long until that happened. Then he goes a lap down and cannot get it back. Just an unfortunate day for Santini, but a great gift given to Michael Whitaker to walk away with that win.
Absolutely. Michael Whitaker was able to take advantage of a really unfortunate incident for David Santini, and Whitaker's car came alive. I mean, all credit to Whitaker. We watched, in stage 2, toward the end of it, his car came alive, and he had a really fast race car, especially in that last stage, and took advantage of David Santini's issues.
Well, a wonderful win for Michael Whitaker in the 58 in the Fantastic Sam's 233 for the MSRA National Series. That's going to do it for our coverage here on Apex Racing TV. Remember to hit that subscribe button here on YouTube, the notification bell, the follow button on Twitch. Get notified every time we go live here on Apex Racing TV with more of the most exciting action from the world of iRacing. For Marco Barbadera, Jonathan Grabowski, I am Joshua Lee. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and we're saying goodbye from the virtual Darlington.